Welcome to eVision Live with Dr. Alexandra Kleeberg
and Dietrich Busaka. Welcome to your healthy, happy, fulfilled life.
We have a new companion in the 30th edition of eVision Live. This is this little dog or pig, whatever it is. It's called Schweinehund, and so give him a welcome in our team here. He will accompany us for during the next sessions, episodes, and
he is a symbol, a materialization of the weaker self in Germany, and we will tell you more about that now.
So the topic of our of the month is the power of practice, and as Alexandra said, oops, wrong way. My weaker self is a topic of today and also of next episode. So the weaker self is in German expressed by this little this dog called
Schweinehund.
So we will give you a little bit
insight into German mythology.
German mythology and German language. Yes, in English, and we looked around in English or in other languages, there is not something like this Schweinehund.
Yes.
And maybe we will ask you, and maybe if they're for the weaker self, so listen to this episode. What is in your culture? Are there any symbols, any images that represents it?
Or animals or whatever.
Animals. Yes. It would be really interesting to know if in your cultural background are there some animals, images that represent the weaker self.
So for me, this Schweinehund from the German language is very, very interesting. And you might ask, why does it belong to the series The Power of Practice? And I have a lot of exercises and imaginations that I tell my participants to do within 2 groups or within a certain time. And they said, yes, I will do it. And after the while, I asked them again, and they said, oh, how was this exercise? How was this information? And then they said, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't have the time. I didn't feel like it. I didn't know it anymore. It's so exhausting. It doesn't feel right to me. Oh, that's not me. Or they have all sorts of, let's call them excuses why not to practice.
Can you relate to this? I think this is one of the most difficult points when it is about practicing, really to stick onto it, not to give up, and to continue to do it. And there's so many excuses, reasons why to give up and not to continue.
Yes, and in Germany we say, oh, this is my inner Schweinehund, which means my inner self, but it's a combination of a pig and a dog. And
where does this come from?
Yes, the Schweinehunde, they were hunting dogs in about, 400, 500, 600 years ago, and they were hunting boars, or pigs, you might say.
No, wild boars.
Yes, wild boars. And they were in a pack. They were very, very fast. They were very alive. And they were hunting after the boars until they snapped them.
Yeah, and the boars got exhausted because they are also very strong.
So it was not the weaker self, but they were very strong. They were very energetic. And they even were more energetic in the pack than the boars. So finally they snapped them. And then there was this tradition that the Germans called snappy people, Schweinehund.
So that was an invective that became an invective.
Yes, so people who were sort of bad and tricky and so forth. And then later on it became an invective for the weaker self.
Well, expressing the weaker self. Lower motivations.
And now it's the Schweinehund, it is lazy, it doesn't want to do much, it says, oh no, I don't have the time, it doesn't feel right, that's not me, I don't feel like it, I don't want it, even if that what is suggested to him would be actually good for the person.
Yeah, so doing some
So,
practicing for fitness,
yes, or starting a diet, or I have this
finishing the work.
My Schweinehund comes when I have to write something on formulas, or when I do my
Reports. Your tax
or
declaration.
my tax declaration or so. I say, oh, I don't feel it, it's not the right time. And I think this Schweinehund is only in the German language because we Germans are supposed to be very, very, very disciplined. And actually, this Schweinehund is the rebellion against discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have to do my tax or my reports or whatever, I say, actually, I don't want it. I don't love it. I would like to pay my taxes without filling out the formula. That without with the taxes, it's okay, but I don't like to do this paperwork.
So then you say rebellious. So the Schweinehund. Look how cute it is. Or it could be also like this, which is a little bit more rebellious. And we have our Vietnamese designer Duan Trang. She made them. So thank you to her.
And this in Germany, with all this discipline, we have the tradition to overcome or to discipline the Schweinehund so it becomes straight and ordered and correct again. And they do it with punishment. And so why do I do my tax report? I remember about 20 years ago, I got a letter from the tax department and they said, pay us within the next 4 weeks $50,000. And I said, oh, that's not even as much as I earned at that time. So they tried to punish you, but they were wrong. So they wrote down, I don't know, 3 more zeros or something like that. But you get into that, doing something which you don't like by discipline and by punishment.
Mm-hmm.
So
but then we have also... Yeah.
The rebellious Schweinehund is somebody who says, I don't want the discipline and I don't want the punishment.
Mm-hmm. And then it's the lazy one that you try to overcome through the motivation theory. Oops. Okay.
Yes.
So motivation theory, where you give them maybe some sausage to get a move.
Yes. And I think in America or England or wherever you are in the English-speaking countries, you have these motivation theories, how to overcome your weaker self.
Yeah.
And actually what I want to tell you, like the Schweinehund, it's a bundle of energy.
So this was a message that we want you to take away.
If you have a weaker self, you can be proud to write it down. It's a bundle of energy, and I will show you what that bundle looks like and why it is energy, and it's not laziness, it's not being bored or whatever. It's a bundle of energy, but it's withdrawn in a way.
Mm-hmm. How does it come? How does the weaker self produce? Is it something? Are you born with weaker self? Do you have it by nature?
No, I don't think so. We have a dog, and I think he doesn't have a weaker self. He does what he likes to do, and he doesn't do what he doesn't like to do.
Animals don't, but children.
If you force them to do something, then yesterday we wanted to have him in the car, and he was running away all the time and wanted to stay at home with this little grandchild I have. And then you might call it a Schweinehund because
he doesn't want to.
He has a reason. Actually, he doesn't want to. So as long as children are allowed to say no and are allowed to be stubborn or to be rebellious, they have energy. But once they withdraw and swallow their rebellion, swallow their no, swallow their I don't want to, it doesn't feel good, then this energy becomes hidden. Maybe they hide it in the body, maybe they hide it in the soul.
Maybe they hide it in symptoms.
In symptoms, they might say, oh, I have a migraine, or I have a stomach ache, or whatever. Maybe you remember that. And a symptom as well is a bundle of energy. But it's compressed and it's withdrawn. So children develop this weaker self once they are forced to do something they don't want to do. And once they don't get encouraged in doing the things they want to do, and when they not get supported enough to love themselves. So all this is compressed, so to say, in the weaker self and in the Schweinehund in Germany.
And what can we do to overcome our weaker self?
No, don't overcome it. Just, I think the first thing is to realize it and to see, oh, I have a Schweinehund, I have a weaker self, and to contact it.
Okay, so
who are you and how long have you been in my life? That gives you an idea what happened. Maybe it's I'm developed when coming to school. Or maybe I developed when I was a year old and my mother died. Or I developed during my marriage where I had this man who was beating me or who wanted things I didn't want to do. I think women sometimes used to have it in Germany when the man wants to be sexually active. They say, oh, I have a headache. I have a Schweinehund. Yeah, but actually they want to say, no, it's not my rhythm, it's not my time or whatever. So you can ask this weaker self or the Schweinehund, for how long have you been here?
And what do you want to say?
What do you want to say? And one very important expression of the Schweinehund or the weaker self is no. No, I don't want this. But I don't dare to say no. That's why I hide and I become lazy. And no is very active. It's the energy of fire. And becoming lazy is having all that fire getting colder and colder and colder.
Okay.
So, since when have you been here? What do you want? And what do you need? And if you want to work with your weaker self, or in Germany we would say with the Schweinehund, I like that because it's a personality.
Yes.
The weaker self, I don't know if you have a personality for that. Maybe you have a comic figure or something like that. That would be nice. So something you can address to that complex in you.
Yeah.
So I love this Schweinehund, and that's why we
Introduce it
to you.
So you're learning a little bit of German, and
you have the Zeitgeist too. It's also a German, the word. So maybe the Schweinehund will find its way all around the world, and that would mean it's a very, very active part of you.
Yeah.
So if you
there's a wolf in there in the Schweinehund.
Yes, maybe you show your T-shirt.
So no, yeah.
That's a wolf. We will talk about that in the next
session. I will blur it again.
And you didn't say if you have a Schweinehund. I outed
yes,
myself.
I have lots of Schweinehunds inside of myself. Yes. Schweinehund, for example, when I should maybe contact somebody and it's really not so good, I have to excuse myself, or else it's somehow not a very nice conversation I will have. I try to avoid it. Forgetting, for example, is my Schweinehund. Yeah,
you forget
just to procrast. That is classical Schweinehund. Or what else? This is a typical thing. So if you want to write if I have to write a report or so, I wait till the last minute. If I'm really under pressure, then I get such a push of adrenaline that in fact I make it in a very few days. But it's first of all the Schweinehund, the weaker self, which is there and somehow pushes it first even longer.
And when you then finally do it, it's like a wolf tracing something?
Yes, and then my wolf is there. When I really do it, then I go, and then it works. It's okay, and I get it there. And this is actually then the idea, the image of this, which helps me, I would say. So the next time that maybe I remember, okay, I made it. I had a good feeling afterwards. For example, especially if you're doing like sport things, like going, or I like now today to take a cold shower, which I never did for, let's say, till a few years ago, and even now since a few months only, I'm really doing it after actually the workshop we had with Ben Greenfield, where really this cold shower, and at the first you think, in the morning cold shower, it's so horrible, but it feels so good after it. And so if you just take this vision, this image of feeling good afterwards, and just you save this in your cells, then it's so easy to overcome your weaker self.
Okay, so you need to. Actually, you should have been trained by willpower. You should have been trained by vision.
It's vision. It's actually images. It's the images.
And so forth.
Yeah.
Not to develop a Schweinehund or a weaker self.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to transform your Schweinehund, your weaker self, the first thing is to realize that he or she is there, then to talk to him. And then you make a list, and you can download this template in our Facebook group or on our blog.
On the Facebook group.
We will show you that later. And you have 4 columns, and one is for the discipline side. Sigmund Freud called that the superego, which says do this, do that, do it faster, do it better, you're not good enough, you're not lovable, or whatever. So then in the next column you have the Schweinehund, and in most of the cases the Schweinehund says, no, I don't want to, I need time, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't make me feel good, it feels horrible, I don't like it, or whatever. You write down what your Schweinehund says, or your weaker self. And then you write down which needs are hidden in that. I need more time, I need more self-love, I need more responsibility for myself, I need more encouragement, or whatever. It's just examples what I wrote down. And in the 4th column you write down which action this Schweinehund or this weaker self can take. Love yourself, take your time, take care of yourself, you're good enough, you're wonderful, or whatever. So that's how you can understand the Schweinehund and the power that lies within.
Wonderful. So this is the exercise that you just can download it, and then you can identify many other things that your weaker self is doing or is concerned about. I was really amazed that a Jungian psychoanalyst is citing Freud, but
yes, I've studied Freud as well. I worked in a Freudian clinic for a while.
You can download this in our Facebook groups. Oops, this is the German version. I also have
the Facebook group is named Self-Healing and Potential Development.
Okay, so we have the Facebook group Self-Healing and Potential Development. You can get easily a member, and or on our blog, eVisionpublishing.com/blog. There you can also
download the template and fill it out so you can get acquainted with your weaker self and transform it day after day.
Yeah, and Alexandra has made a very nice blog about this topic. So it's all what you heard there. There's even more information, a nice blog, and this template to download. So welcome to do this. And
we will have another eVision Live on the Schweinehund with more news about it and how to transform it. And it will have an imagination to free this weaker self from discipline, from narrowness, from self-hatred or whatever.
One of Alexandra's wonderful imaginations that you can also then download or hear again.
Yes, okay.
So thank you so much for listening and watching. This was our 30th eVision Live episode.
And open your heart and start.